welcome back. Today we're going to talk about our ag business lesson plans and activities which are associated with loans and balance sheets. So in one of my classes, ag business, we go over balance sheets, loans, credit, and things like that. So in our activities, we actually talk about long-term, short-term, and intermediate loans. Students have to determine what those loans are and then what type of years they are available for and how that all works. They also have to develop a balance sheet for themselves as well as for people who are more complex and actually have assets and liabilities. The fun thing about this is that students don't understand that this is something that they're going to use in the real world forever. And so as we go through this, they actually get to identify different things that they could put on their own balance sheet, and they realize that their assets and their liabilities most likely are zero, whereas as they move throughout their life, they will grow. So how do you teach about assets and liabilities and balance sheets when really they don't own any assets and liabilities? So we do stations within the unit and the activities and the things that we do. We have these stations and they go and move through different stations, and it talks about how you can have a trailer or you can have livestock where you've paid off part of them. So part of them are assets, but then you also still have loans on them, and part of them are still liabilities. So this is a really cool way to get a hands-on activity where they're learning stuff, but they are still also able to do real life things and get a perspective from somebody who has those assets and has those liabilities. We also talk about interest rates on those loans and those different terms and how those look if you have a down payment versus if you just pay it straight off and things like that. So they have to do a project where they have to pick 3 different items, and they work through these items and they actually say what are they going to do for their down payment and how many years they're going to pay them off. And on the board behind me, I have an amortization calculator, and they have to work through the amortization calculator, which is what an individual would do in real life. So they do a short-term, a long-term, and an intermediate loan. They do each loan twice. So on our sheet, we have enough boxes for those. So if I was going to do my long-term loan, I have to, for the first example, I'm going to do my long-term loan with no down payment. It's going to be the total cost of the item. So for example, land. So if I was going to purchase land for $100,000, I would have to do $100,000 in my amortization calculator, and it would show me back here my interest, my principal, and things like that. So we talk about that and how that's important and how it's actually relevant. And then on the next line, we still do a long-term loan. We do that same land, but they get to choose how much of a down payment they pay. So in the directions, it's going to tell you between 15 and 30% down. And the reason that I came up with 15 to 30% down is actually because that's kind of maybe where that you need to be if you're going to buy land or something like that. So with the programs for first-time farmers, first-time homeowners, or if you don't qualify for those, let's see kind of and play with those numbers where you can fit into that and what it looks like for you. So they have to do that. They have to figure out their down payment. They have to subtract that from their total cost. Then they have to put that into our amortization calculator, and they're going to have to see what different things are working and stuff like that. So they're going to work through this different stuff, and they're going to actually figure out and look at the different cost of what things are going to be when they have that down payment. So it is really real life. It applies to them. They have to do a short-term, an intermediate, and a long-term loan, and it works out really well for what they are doing on their real life experiences and examples and kind of where their goals and stuff are going. So I hope that you can incorporate this into your ag business class, or even just maybe a unit into one of your classes. Even an ag leadership class would work really well into that. So if you have any questions or anything, reach out to me. You can reach out on social media, or you can also like, subscribe, and follow along for more videos.